You're such an asshole.
AssholeConsulting.com, we got a pretty good video request. And I gotta apologize to you guys in advance. I have no fucking idea. None. I've been racking my brain on this one because I don't know. I got nothing. I got some theories. But I don't, it's not like, oh yeah, it's this, and you guys are just young dipshits that don't know any better. No, I'm about as stumped as you guys are here, but I will give you some insights, and hopefully we got some theories. Hey Aaron, you helped me in the past, and I continue to come across questions to ask. This topic is brought to you by me and my buddies who also contributed to writing this. I consider myself a fairly good-looking guy. I work out, I keep my body in shape, I have a good job, I'm financially responsible with no debt or other issues. I don't consider myself an alpha male, though it strikes me when one of my best friends, who's super beta, and almost all the time he has women gravitate towards him over me or any of our friends. He's your typical shy, nerdy IT guy and overweight. He does make a decent living, however, plagued with financial problems. So he's pissing away his money. Insight. He lives a very dull, mundane life as far as you know, and rarely gets out of his comfort zone. When it comes to socializing, I tend to listen in on what he says to these women and believe me, the stuff that comes out of his mouth will put anyone to sleep for a whole season. Somehow they find him interesting, and this guy has gotten laid more than me, my buddies, and any alpha PUA that I have ever known. By the end of the night, it's always the same outcome watching him leave with someone, and surprisingly, these women still call him to ask him out. Not to mention, they would even buy him gifts and pay for the dates. At this rate, he has formed a harem consisting of all the women he has been with, and he gets to sleep with them whenever he wants. I know everyone listening to this is probably thinking these women have low sexual market value, extremely low self-esteem. I'm not exaggerating when I say this, but this guy's banging models, including Instagram hoes, strippers, career women, and bartenders. Me and some of my PUA friends had to ask him what his secret is, and he tells us the same bullshit that our mother or blue-pilled mangina fathers told us. Just have a good presentation, be nice to them, and make sure to always listen to them. All right, I'll grant you that helps. That doesn't explain everything, because we'll get to it later, because I thought like this guy was going to be like, you know what, he's a little overweight, but he's probably that really charming, good-looking guy, you know, like, yeah, he's got a little fat, girls are more willing to forgive that, and he's just got the je ne quoi ça, and then you show him like, no, okay, that's not it. I was like, wow, that guy. But this is not going to hurt you, and it doesn't just apply to talking to women. This is a good conversational ability to have anyway, talking to men or women. And that is truly listen to what people are saying. Understand all conversations usually everybody waiting for their turn to talk to tell people about them on a topic that is germane to their situation. Rarely do people listen, hinge on every word, and actually incorporate into their mind what somebody else is trying to tell them. And then you ask them questions about that or how it pertains to them. And then usually you get much more of a deeper relationship with that person and much more progress. At least that's what I've found. Being a good listener, though, that alone right there does not explain to me how he's banging all these girls that are way the fuck out of his league or racket. But it's something that does explain a little bit of it. A little bit. We're like, what the fuck? Are you serious? I mean, this is a guy who shits his pants when it comes to approaching women, and when he talks to them, he's all speechless and shaky, about to have a seizure. But women do approach him, whether it be at bars, clubs, parties, or any public venue. He is currently in a relationship with a stripper who he met at a strip club. You ready for this? She knows he is financially unstable. She pays off his loans, showers him with gifts, does everything for him. Until this day, he has not spent a dime on her. We went so far as to ask these women he hooked up with what they see in him. No surprise when they do admit that he comes off as weak, insecure, boring, and not attractive, but each and every one of them will tell us the same line verbatim: there's just something about him. Now this is where we ask you, Aaron, what do they mean by that? Why do they what do they think they see in him that we don't see in any other guy? I know women are very intuitive, so do they sense some sort of compatibility? All right, no, here's what... There's just something about him. All right. I'm going to go off on a limb. I'm going to say that when women say they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, they really don't. Or that's what they're telling you. Because the truth may be too shocking or they don't want to tell you. Right? Like he's got an 8-inch dick flaccid. Like, didn't you see his dick? You're like, what? No, we were in the locker room, but I wasn't looking. What, was he pulling it up out of the urinal? And you're like, oh man, 8 inches flaccid, huge. So that's, maybe they're not going to tell you that. Now, I got some other theories as to why they're giving you this line. But the larger point about this, there's just something about him. I don't believe that, because frankly, I don't think women have ever... You can't listen to what women say on these men. You just can't. Not once is a one. It's like, go to my previous video. He knew all the right things to say. And I asked, well, what the fuck are they? And then in the comment section below, there was some very good comments, very good insight, where people are like, that's just what women tell you or tell themselves because they got duped by a scam artist or because this guy broke up with her. And it excuses like, well, he just knew everything, the right things to say. But then when you ask them to provide the right things to say, they can't give you an example. And that's even tangible. Like, okay, what are the things? Write them down on this piece of paper or write them down in Microsoft Word and email them to me. That'd be acceptable. But there's just something about him. Well, what is it? Well, I don't know, it's something. I'm calling bullshit. You'd think after like hundreds, thousands, millennia of years, men would figure out what is just something about him. And usually we can peg it down like he's confident, he's this and that. Your guy got none of that. I saw the picture. So once again, I think I have an idea. But again, these are just theories. Like I said, I don't have definitive answers. I got some shit to throw up against the wall and something, hopefully something sticks. This story may sound absurd, but it's just too real and surreal enough for us to write you about this. How is it that some men with beta male qualities attract women? Why do they choose these type of guys over the alpha? Hope to hear from you soon, Aaron, and please keep me anonymous. Cheers. All right, so you sent me a picture, and I couldn't believe it. You said these are the girls he's been introducing me to so far. So there's a stripper in her 20s. He's dated 2 bartenders in their early 20s. He had a coworker in IT that's in her 30s. College student in her late teens. And a nurse in her late 20s who's also a model on the side. All right, so let's go through my little notes and possible reasons. Not guaranteed. This does not have the asshole consulting guarantee of truthiness. But this is where the old captain thinks there's a couple explanations. All right. Most of these girls, not all of them, but I have to get them to know them a little better. But definitely the stripper and the model and the little teeny bopper. A lot of these girls are just young and dumb, and some of them certainly have daddy issues. They could be looking for that stable, nice guy that reminds them of dad. And you could go ahead and try and figure that out. You could go ahead and try and get into the world of a girl who's been fucked by your stepdad and became a stripper. You know what? That is a world I don't care to figure out. I just don't care. Yeah, you think it'd be great dating a stripper until you actually date one, and then you're like, oh, fuck. So, in other words, look at the girls he's dating. What do we got? You got there's one gal who's in IT in her early 30s. All right, I don't know. But then the college student, dumb. Bartenders, not making a lot of money. Not a lot of hustle movers and shakers. Nurse is the model on the side. I don't trust any models or any really good-looking girls except for Cindy Moran. You can find her at cindymoran.net. She is a pro. She will get back to you. And then obviously the stripper, I don't, unless that girl was like, she's just doing it for the money. She's becoming an engineer on the side. So one explanation, the one that kind of jumps out to me, is these are just younger, dumber girls. They don't know any better. And Lord knows what they're told. They're looking for a stable guy. He's just stable, steady Eddie. He's a nerd. He's not trying to get down their pants like every guy at the bar, every guy at the strip club. So maybe he's safe. Maybe there's an element of she wants to take care of her younger brother. I don't know. But I do know that when it comes to young, hot, pretty women, there's no logic or reason or evidence. And to try to figure them out as if there's a logic or an intelligence behind it is going to be impossible and incredibly painful because there is none. Right? So that's one thing. He may have this. Okay, here's another one. There is this thing called it, but it is so rare and so undocumented and so rarely observed. He doesn't even know what it is. There's been times where I was on fire. No girl would turn me down. I don't know what it was. Maybe my endorphins were up. Maybe I was just a happier guy. This guy doesn't sound like he's just talking and shy and stuttering. I don't know. But whatever it is, maybe there's this thing called it and he has it. But I'd like to point out that he doesn't know it himself. Because we sure as fuck know being nice, showing up and listening, that doesn't work. He has, but it's so rare even he doesn't know he has it. And it's so amorphous, it could be pheromones. I don't know. But it's such a rarely occurring instance that, again, I wouldn't let this... It's painful because your buddy's right there. You're like, I'd like to bang that girl. What the fuck? How do you? And he can't tell you how. And you're like, well, fuck, dude. What? That make things a lot easier. It would be unlocking the secret of the universe, the most important one to men anyway. But even he himself can't answer it, and even these girls can't answer it. So I'm not putting a lot of faith into that theory that there is this thing called it and he has it, he just doesn't know it. But it's a possibility. Larger point doesn't matter because up until, if we knew what it was, we men would have figured it out long ago. We would have cataloged it, we would have calculated, explained the science behind it, we would have had it down. But I don't think it's something that is observable and quantifiable. I think it's something in the women's brain that it could have something to do with survival. I don't know. But I'm not wasting any more of my life trying to figure out mysteries like this. There is something else that they're not saying about him. Like I said, he could have this just massive dick. He could have a lot of money or be telling him that he has a lot of money, and you don't know that yet. Yet he has all these financial troubles, but it's still the hope. In other words, there is you don't have all the information. You're not him. And they be keeping something secret from you or whatever. But maybe it's just, he doesn't want to tell you this thing. Why would he tell you? Then you guys would figure out what it is. In other words, there's a million other variables that could be it. And based on what you know about your buddy, that does not address or speak to the real reason that he's getting these girls. So there could be an ace up his sleeve we don't know. Again, like a massive dick. We don't know. But it's just another way to explain the theory. It could be that he's just a really funny guy, and once they get to know him and they get a dopamine fix, that's another thing. Funny guys, behind closed doors, girls like to laugh. But again, I'm reaching on that one too. That doesn't explain it. Here's the one where old Captain, if he had to put money on it, this is the one I'd put it on though. This is where I put it on because this is what the behavior tells me. And again, I could be completely wrong. I'd put maybe at most $20 on this, and I'd be surprised if I won. I'm just saying this is the one that makes the most sense to me. You don't know it, but he's a drug dealer, and these girls go to him for his drug fix, and so that's where he gets all these girls. It kind of fits the profile. He has money, but he makes a lot of money, but it's gone. It's always away. He's spending it on something. And I think he's spending it on hookers and blow. You just don't see it as hookers and blow because it doesn't let you see the blow. And his girlfriends probably do lines of coke off of each other's asses when you're not there. You're not invited to those parties. That's about the only thing that makes any logical sense to me is he doesn't have the money. The drug culture is prominent among strippers and bartenders, stuff like that. Hot chicks do not go out with simpy beta-like guys unless there's something, and that is if he's the drug supplier. He may have a little supply. He may not be an actual drug dealer, but he might actually have his own stash. He might have a supplier himself. And it's just, shit, why the hell not? Yeah, do you want some heroin? Let's do it, sweetheart. And then girls will go after that, especially if they're drug addicts. So that's the one I put the money on. Here's the larger point. This is the only solution I can really give you. It doesn't matter. You're not going to find out. He may not know. If he does know, he's certainly not going to tell you. These girls aren't going to tell you. It's a question we've always been trying to find out. It's also a very rare statistical oddity. Every once in a while you do see like the loser. And usually this is what I thought it was going to be. I'm like, yeah, he's just going to be this big ripped dude. He's a loser to you. But as the girl, he's ripped and he'll protect her. This guy doesn't have that. So this is such a rare statistical oddity. I don't think it has any founding or grounding in logic or evidence or the reality principle. In other words, you're not going to see another guy like this. He didn't unlock a secret. It's just a combination of him and these girls. I'd be surprised if this continues on for another 2 to 3 years. If that happens, then there must be something specific about him. Again, possibly drugs. I don't know. Don't call the cops on your buddy, all right? But in terms of you understanding and moving on from this, dude, don't try and bash your head against the wall anymore. There's just some shit. I told this to a guy who was 50 years old when I was 30. I said, he was really torn and worked up about this gal that dumped him. And, this is a 50-year-old man. And I started really, and this is how jaded and cynical I was, and I was like maybe 28, 29, maybe 30. I said, the why doesn't matter. Because it got to the point he kept asking me, why do you think it was ruining our friendship? I was like, dude, I'm done talking to you about your fucking girlfriend that dumped you, and you cannot fucking move on. I said, the why doesn't matter. All that matters is what is. And I don't think you're going to be able to figure out the why. All that matters is what is your fat, really dopey looking buddy is getting a lot of play. And you know what? You should be happy for him. You should be happy for him, and then just be, the fact you get to experience this and see this and laugh, yeah, you'd like to unlock the secrets, yeah, but I don't think there's a secret to be unlocked. I think it's very much like a stripper behind a screen. You can look, but you can't touch. You will not be part of that world. He's not going to let you know what's going on, in part because maybe he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know how he's doing it. In part because it might be something a little illegal, like drugs, which is, again, my philosophy or theory that I would have to put money on. But we really don't know. And you know what, man? It happens every once in a while. We're like, what the I mean, here's another one. A perfect example. Along the lines of drug dealer, maybe he's paying them. You just don't know that. You just don't see it. Like, he gives them all their money up front. Like, he buys them drinks. They all have fun. And then they feel compelled to buy him gifts and things like that. I mean, I've told the story before, where there was this hot little 20-something. I was in a real bad mood, and she comes walking in with this fat 60-year-old Russian fuck. What the fucking god? No, wait, she was Russian. He was a fat American fuck. And when he went to the bathroom, I went up to her. I said, "What the fucking goddamn hell?" I'm just like red of the. She's like, "Well, he gives me what I want." And I'm like, "What? Fuck that. Fuck you." It was the greatest ripping apart of a cute girl. It felt like a betrayal. It's like, you're going to go out with this fat ass when there's good-looking dudes like us. I know we ain't got the money. Well, it turns out she was actually a prostitute. And everyone at the place said, "Holy shit, Claire, I can't believe you told her off." I'm like, why? She's a prostitute. She's been, like, banging all these rich dudes in WBL forever. I'm like, what? Yeah, she's over in North Oaks or something. What? So you don't know. I didn't know that she was a prostitute. That's why she was saying it was nothing personal. It's just she was a whore. And here I was, I assumed she wasn't. I thought she was just a hot chick that was gonna, didn't want to have anything to do with good-looking young guys like myself. But there's a reason, but the point is, whether you figure it out or not, I don't know. You're not going to be able to naturally do what he has, since he doesn't know what it is. I don't think you want to start getting into dealing with drugs. I'd also start looking at these girls a little bit more deeply. Like, are these the quality? Are these the future June Cleavers? Really? Are they? Huh? Are these the ones you want to bring home to mom? And realize there's a whole bunch of other shit. Do you know about dating strippers? Have you dated one? It's not fun. It is not just like that much fun. And trust you me, it's awesome fun. But then the rest of it with drugs and venereal diseases and bouncers and jealous ex-boyfriends and cops anyway, it's a world you don't need to be a part of. It looks better than it really is. So that's all I got. I wish I had an answer for you guys, but it's so rare and it so doesn't make sense. We're either missing a huge part of the formula, or he is this rare statistical phenomenon that you are never going to see happen again. And it's so rare, even he doesn't know how it's happening. All right, you guys got questions? Go to your older brother, Cappy, over at assholeconsulting.com. Send me questions and send me money, and I will answer your questions, and in your case, hopefully bring around some serenity and solace in your life. Otherwise, we could solve your problems, but I couldn't solve this one, guys. Terribly sorry. All right, we'll see you guys later. Toodles.